Let me ask you a question, one that cuts to the very heart of modern attraction. Why is it that some men, despite a lifetime of experience, wisdom, and stability, seem to become invisible in the dating world, while others, often with far less to offer on paper, possess a kind of quiet gravity that effortlessly draws people in? The world will tell you it's about looks, money, or status. But the truth is far more profound. The most compelling quality a man can possess is not found in his bank account or his gym routine, but in the landscape of his inner world, a world that is most honestly revealed through the things he chooses to do with his most precious resource, his time. Welcome to Sovereign Psychology. This is a space for the mature man who understands that the final and most important project of his life is the mastery of the self. We are not here to give you a list of sexy hobbies to impress women. We are here to deconstruct the very psychology of passion and purpose. Today, we will explore why the things a man pours his energy into, his hobbies, his crafts, his intellectual pursuits, are the most powerful nonverbal signals of his character, his depth, and his integrity. We will delve into why a woman of substance is drawn not to the man who tries to be interesting, but to the man who is genuinely interested in the world around him. As we journey through these ideas, I invite you to think about your own life. What are the pursuits that truly ignite your spirit? Share one in the comments below, because this is not a lecture, it is a conversation among men who are committed to living a life of depth and purpose. The psychology of passion. Beyond the performance, before we explore specific examples, we must first establish a foundational principle. The pursuits of a sovereign man are not a performance. In the world of dating advice, men are often encouraged to pick up hobbies as a tactic, learn guitar to serenade women, take a cooking class to host impressive dates. This approach, while well-intentioned, is fundamentally flawed. It is rooted in an insecure need for external validation. It frames a hobby as a tool to get something. The sovereign man, however, engages in his passions not for what they might get him, but for what they make of him. His pursuits are an end in themselves, an expression of his own curiosity, discipline, and desire to engage with life on a deeper level. This authenticity is the very source of its power. A woman of perception can instantly feel the difference between a man who is strumming a guitar because he genuinely loves music, and a man who is doing it because he thinks it will get him laid. The first man exudes a quiet, centered passion. The second exudes a nervous, needy energy. The first man's hobby is an overflow of his rich inner world, the second man's hobby is a calculated strategy to fill an inner void. As we've discussed in our video on the 3 pillars of the sovereign man, this internal validation is the bedrock of a man's presence. When your sense of worth comes from within, your interactions with others become a joyful sharing of that fullness, not a desperate plea for them to make you feel whole. This is the crucial distinction we must hold as we explore how these passions manifest. Let me share a brief story that illustrates this perfectly. I once knew a man, a retired engineer named Charles, who was a passionate amateur astronomer. He wasn't a smooth talker or a classically handsome man. He was quiet, thoughtful, and utterly consumed by his love for the cosmos. He would host small gatherings in his backyard, where he'd set up his large telescope. He never used his knowledge to show off. Instead, he had a way of speaking about the nebulae and distant galaxies that was filled with such genuine awe and wonder that it was infectious. He wasn't trying to impress his guests, he was trying to share a piece of the universe with them. Women were incredibly drawn to him, not because they were all interested in astronomy, but because they were drawn to the purity of his passion. His hobby wasn't a tool for attraction, his authentic passion was the attraction. The creator, the man who shapes his world. One of the most powerful archetypes a man can embody is that of the creator. This is the man who does not just consume, but produces. He shapes the physical or intellectual world around him through skill, discipline, and vision. This taps into a primal psychological trigger. A woman is not just attracted to a man's ability to provide resources, she is attracted to his ability to create order out of chaos, to turn a raw element into something of use or beauty. Consider the man who works with his hands. This could be woodworking, blacksmithing, or even gardening. When a man takes a rough piece of wood and, through patience and skill, transforms it into a functional piece of furniture, he is sending a powerful nonverbal message. He is saying, I have the patience to see a project through. I have the skill to shape my environment. I can create stability and beauty from raw potential. The scent of sawdust, the quiet confidence of his hands, these are signals of a deep, grounded competence. This is a world away from the man who simply buys expensive things. The buyer consumes value, the creator makes it. There is a deeper psychological layer to this as well. When a man is deeply engrossed in a creative act, he often enters what psychologists call a flow state. It's a state of complete immersion where time seems to disappear, and the ego fades away. He is not thinking about how he looks or what others think of him, his entire being is focused on the task at hand. Observing a man in this state is profoundly attractive because it is a pure demonstration of a self-contained, internally validated mind. He is not performing for an audience, his reward is the act of creation itself. This is the epitome of non-neediness. It signals to a woman that here is a man who has his own source of fulfillment, a wellspring of passion that is independent of her. Paradoxically, this very independence is what makes a partnership with him so desirable. He doesn't need her to complete him, which frees him up to connect with her authentically, without a hidden agenda. This same principle applies to the intellectual and artistic creator. The man who plays a musical instrument, for instance, is demonstrating his commitment to discipline and his ability to access and express emotion. Learning an instrument like the piano or guitar requires thousands of hours of focused practice. It is a testament to his perseverance. But more than that, when he plays, he is translating the abstract world of emotion into the tangible world of sound. He is creating an atmosphere. He is not just telling you how he feels, he is letting you feel it with him. This combination of discipline and emotional vulnerability is incredibly compelling. As we explored in our video on the art of seeing, the ability to perceive and express the subtle layers of life is a hallmark of a truly present man. The creator, whether he is building a table or composing a melody, is a man who is actively engaged in the art of living, and that is an irresistibly attractive quality. The explorer, the man who engages with the world, the second powerful archetype is that of the explorer. This is the man whose curiosity extends beyond his immediate surroundings. He is engaged in a lifelong process of learning and discovery. This signals adaptability, intelligence, and a thirst for life that is deeply magnetic. The explorer is not stagnant, he is in constant motion, either physically or intellectually. This constant growth is a sign of vitality, a psychological signal that he is not winding down, but continually expanding his world. It's important here to distinguish between the mindset of an explorer and that of a tourist. The tourist consumes experiences passively. He visits the famous landmarks, takes the required photos, and collects souvenirs as proof of his journey. His goal is often comfort and the validation of having been there. The explorer, on the other hand, engages with the world actively. He seeks not just to see new places, but to understand them. He is willing to step off the beaten path, to embrace a degree of discomfort, and to allow his perspective to be challenged and changed by what he encounters. This mindset reveals a profound intellectual humility. The explorer operates from the wise understanding that the more he learns, the more he realizes how much he doesn't know. This is far more compelling than the brittle certainty of a man who believes he has all the answers. The most literal expression of this is travel. The man who has stories from foreign cities and different cultures demonstrates that he is courageous, adaptable, and open to new experiences. He has stepped outside of his comfort zone and returned with a broader perspective. But one need not be a globetrotter to be an explorer. The man who dedicates himself to learning a new language is embarking on one of the most profound intellectual journeys possible. He is not just memorizing words, he is learning to see the world through an entirely new cultural and conceptual lens. This signals immense mental discipline and a sophisticated mind. It non-verbally communicates, "I'm a man who is still growing, still learning, still becoming." Even a pursuit as simple as reading can place a man firmly in the explorer archetype. A man who reads is a man who travels through worlds, ideas, and histories without ever leaving his chair. It signals a rich inner life, a mind that is not content with the shallow distractions of the modern world. It creates a sense of mystery and depth. A woman sees him lost in a book and she doesn't just see a man reading, she sees a man with a hidden landscape inside of him, and she becomes curious to explore it. What all these pursuits have in common, travel, language, reading, is that they are a testament to a man's curiosity. A man who is curious about the world is likely to be a man who is curious about a partner, not just as an object of desire, but as a world to be discovered. The nurturer, the man who cultivates life. The final archetype we will discuss is perhaps the most subtly powerful, the nurturer. In a world that often equates masculinity with pure force or stoic detachment, the man who demonstrates an ability to care for and cultivate life sends a profound signal of a different kind of strength, a strength rooted in patience, empathy, and gentle consistency. This archetype is not about weakness, it is about a quiet confidence that is not afraid of tenderness. Embracing this archetype requires a significant level of inner security. For generations, men were conditioned to believe that nurturing was a purely feminine domain, and that engaging in it would somehow diminish their masculine identity. The sovereign man, however, is not bound by such rigid and outdated stereotypes. He understands that true masculinity is not a fragile performance that must be constantly defended, but a deep and integrated state of being. His confidence is so foundational that he is free to express the full spectrum of his humanity, including his capacity for care and tenderness. This act of integrated masculinity, which effortlessly balances strength with gentleness, is a powerful signal of a man who is whole, self-aware, and comfortable in his own skin. It tells a woman that he is not a caricature of a man, but the real thing. The most classic example of this is cooking. A man who can cook is demonstrating a host of attractive qualities. He is independent and self-sufficient. He is creative. And most importantly, he has the ability to provide comfort and pleasure through an act of care. The act of preparing a meal for someone is a primal act of nurturing. It is a way of saying, I have taken the time and used my skill to create something for your enjoyment and well-being. It is a generous, life-affirming act. When a man cooks with confidence, he creates an experience of sensual pleasure and safety that is deeply appealing. This nurturing quality is also beautifully expressed in the man who gardens. A man who can take a seed and, through patience, care, and an understanding of natural cycles, cultivate it into a living, thriving plant, is demonstrating a profound connection to life itself. It signals stability, foresight, and a gentle hand. Subconsciously, it communicates a powerful message: this is a man who knows how to make things grow. In a relationship context, this is a deeply reassuring quality. It suggests that he has the patience and care required to nurture a connection, to help it grow through different seasons. Both cooking and gardening are hobbies that require a man to be present, to pay attention to detail, and to care about the outcome. They reveal a man who is not just a consumer of life, but a cultivator of it. This nurturing strength, far from being unmanly, is a sign of a fully integrated, sovereign man who is confident enough to be both strong and gentle. Conclusion: the man who lives the creator, the explorer, the nurturer. These are not roles to be played or hobbies to be adopted as a means to an end. They are expressions of a man who is fully engaged in the art of living. The underlying principle that connects them all is authenticity. The man who is genuinely passionate about woodworking, the man who is truly curious about the stars, the man who finds sincere joy in preparing a meal, this is the man whose presence is felt, whose energy is attractive, whose world is inviting. His life is not a waiting room, where he sits hoping for a partner to arrive and give it meaning. His life is a rich and fascinating landscape that he is already actively exploring, creating, and nurturing. This is the ultimate purpose of this channel, Sovereign Psychology. We are here to guide you on the journey of building that rich inner landscape. Every video we create is designed to provide you with a deeper understanding of the psychological principles that underpin a life of integrity, purpose, and profound connection. Whether we are discussing the nature of boundaries, the art of deep listening, or the patterns of attraction, our goal is to empower you to become the ultimate authority in your own life. Because when you are living a life that is genuinely interesting to you, you will become effortlessly interesting to others. The goal is not to be a man who has interesting hobbies. The goal is to be an interesting man. If this philosophy resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe and join our community. This is a space for men who are committed to the lifelong journey of self-mastery. Leave a comment below and share a passion or a pursuit that has shaped the man you are today. Your story is a vital part of this conversation. Thank you for your time and your attention.